Good morning, everyone. So I hope that you are all safe. So I decided to just have this video. Since the class cannot make it today because of the unsafe condition that your place is experiencing right now, so I would like you to check on this video. So for today's discussion, we are supposed to discuss curriculum planning in TLE. This is the third topic for this course, Content and Pedagogy in TLE. One of the things that the teacher should understand is how to craft a curriculum. Again, when we say curriculum, it is a roadmap, a guide for everyone, for both teachers and students, of what to expect to experience, what to expect to learn. So last time, you mentioned that in the Department of Education, you do not construct your lesson plan anymore. Good. If you will see the brighter side of it, at least there's no need for you to do that. At least there's just a need for modification. Still, you need to learn how to craft, even if it is provided, but still, you need to understand how to craft a curriculum because you know your learners more than others. Every day, we experience different situations. Every year we have different students. Therefore, although we have to follow the learning competencies, but still how we implement it, it may differ depending on who are the students, what is the situation. But still, don't get me wrong, you still have to follow the learning competencies, and it is being chunked into objectives for you to make sure that it will be achieved. Okay, why are we doing this? Or why are we there's a need sometimes to modify the the learning objectives because of the diversity of the learners. So you see, curriculum planning is a vital process equipping learners with essential life skills and foundational skills. TLE is designed to instill a sense of responsibility and self reliance. To what? Of course, here comes experiential learning. Okay, it's more of hands on. Example, why sense of responsibility? Example, we have before 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 students in elementary experience having TLE subject in lower years like grade 1, 2, 3, they have this foundational TLE is integrated to other subjects. For example, TLE to GMRC, like being kind to animals. TLE to science, introducing the different animals. TLE to math, for example, using pictures of animals in counting. At least there is this familiarization of the different animals. So, well, this is just an example. So now, in grade 4, for example, after the foundational course, it prepares them, of course, this foundational subjects, integrating TLE to other subjects. It introduces now the TLE. Okay? So, for example, the thing that I've mentioned with regards to the foundational, the examples that I had mentioned. So, once we integrate now once we integrate it, of course, there will be this familiarization. And then here comes now TLE subject. For example, the main topic now is how to feed animals. So doing hands-on. Okay, introducing now learners to livestock and poultry. For example, in one of the areas of TLA, which is the agriculture and agri-fishery. So alignment of TLE curriculum to the educational standards and competencies. In a curriculum guide, you will see the content standard, the performance standard. But what's the difference between these two? When we say content standard, this is the what of the topic that students need to learn, knowledge and skills that students are expected to learn. Performance standard, from the word performance, of course. If content is the what, performance is the how. How the students can be able to show, apply, practice what they have learned. So if content standard is more of the knowledge and skills, therefore performance standard is more of actions and behavior. So the thing that they can show, that they can demonstrate, that they can apply. Content is more of general. We also have this learning competency, which is a specific. Oh, learning competency, it breaks down the content standard into specific and measurable skills. Again, why are we doing this? To meet the content standard. Learning competency is a specific, longer term when it comes to achievement. But now the question is, how about the objectives? If learning competency is specific, objectives is more specific. It breaks down the learning competencies into specific, more specific, and measurable skills, again, to meet the learning competencies. It is being provided, the objectives are evident every learning session. The curriculum in TLE, well, we all I know that we are being redundant. I keep on reiterating that the emphasis is on values formation. Okay, well-rounded individuals. When we say well-rounded, holistic learners. So we develop learners to be fully transformed into a holistic learner. So how are we going to do this? Not just focusing on the hands-on, not just exposing them to the different activities that will mold them or equip them with with a particular skill, but in the curriculum, in the TLE curriculum, the 21st century skills are being integrated. So that includes the soft skills, teamwork, discipline, patience, having sense of responsibility. For example, you let your learners to do a group project, so social skills. That leads to social skills, which includes cooperation, empathy, communication. Example, you let them have cooking, woodworking, gardening, web designing. Okay, so that promotes soft skills through those kinds of activities. Well, of course, with the guidance of the teacher, for everyone to be on the right track, for everyone to be guided, to make sure that the objectives will really be met. course, part of curriculum planning are the facilities, tools, materials, equipment needed for a meaningful learning to happen. Because you know what will happen if learners were able to experience a very meaningful learning. So it is the learning, the learning becomes, of course, when the learning becomes meaningful, it is being stored in their long-term memory, so they cannot easily forget it, to the point that that becomes also part of their daily living. So that's why in TLE, more emphasis on lifelong learning. Making sure also that part of the planning is we have to consider that the thing that we are going to put is its age appropriate. So that's why we have the skills progression. Okay? So youngsters experience hands-on, but according to their level. Also, for them to be safe. Okay? So we follow the developmental stage, the instruction that we are giving to them, the content that we are providing. Okay? So that's why you will observe that in the curriculum guide that it follows this vertical articulation. So skills is gradually increasing depending on the capability of the learners. So for skills to achieve, we have different pedagogies, right? So more project based, inquiry based, construction, letting them demonstrate a certain skill. So we use the competency based, we have this outcomes based. So you see, curriculum planning in TLE is multifaceted for lifelong learning. Again, for holistic development of the learners. In planning TLE curriculum, we also have, of course, to be aware what are the common goals. What are the common goals that we need to achieve, knowing that TLE comprises of four learning different areas: the industrial arts, the agriculture and agri-fishery arts, information and communications technology, and the family and consumer science. So if you are going to review again the contents of each learning areas, well, all this are the goals. Develop basic life skills and self-reliance. Instill positive work values and ethics. Promote environmental awareness and sustainable practices. Enhance fine motor skills and practical competence. Encourage teamwork and social skills and cooperation. Introduce economic awareness and financial responsibility. Build foundations for technology skills. Promote health and safety awareness. Prepare for future learning in TLE and technical vocational skills. Okay, so the one in squares, this matches with all this in the circle. The one in the square, I mean in the rectangle shape, these are the things that you will see in Matatag curriculum for TLE. For example, in this curriculum of the BT LED, you will see that developing basic life skills and self-reliance, instill positive work values and ethics, encourage teamwork and social skills and cooperation, introduce economic awareness and financial responsibility, There are, for example, this building enhancing new literacies across the curriculum with emphasis on the 21st century. You see, introduce economic awareness because it has this one of the topics that you will learn from building and enhancing is financial literacy. So, including teamwork, social skills, because those are the, again, let's go back to the 21st century skills. So, these subjects will lead students to meet the objectives. I mean, to meet the goals. The one that you see here are the exploratory courses. So this promote, for example, one of the goals is to promote environmental awareness and sustainable practices. For example, in part Introduction to Industrial Arts, part one of the topics there is sustainable development. So another build foundations for technology skills. So we have here the ICT, okay? Technology for teaching and learning. Promote health and safety awareness even in part in introduction to industrial arts part 1, one of the topics there is about safety. Okay, in every major courses safety is always being reminded to everyone. And of course, these are the different major courses in BTLED, the content. So you will see from the content that will really enhance fine motor skills and practical competence. It will really prepare for future learning in TLE and technical vocational skills, equipping again learners, preparing learners for the future. So again, looking back to the matatag curriculum of TLE, the primary goal of these programs is to equip learners with lifelong learning skills, preparing them for the workforce, and empowering them to contribute to national objectives. Again, the TLE framework supports four components: the teaching and learning approaches, monitoring and evaluation, support systems, and curriculum exits. Okay, so again, showing you the different contents, the topic that are expected to learn in every learning area. For example, this one, the ICT, this one in agriculture and fishery arts. So these are the focus. Family and consumer science. These are the different topics, the contents that you are going to include, or in crafting a lesson plan, in writing a learning, or in creating a learning material. Okay, the things that you're going to, these are the topics that you're going to consider, but if you're going to construct your manual for laboratory. Okay. So knowing, and this one is for industrial arts. So knowing all the topics is you will have this big picture how you're going to integrate this to other subjects. If, not just integrating this to other subjects, but also how are you going to prepare now the students if you are teaching in the lower year, lower grade, for example, kinder, grade 1, 2, and 3. So foundational, okay, for them to be exposed to the different learning areas of the TLE. Okay, for example, this is an example of skills progression. So, for instance, the concept about animal raising in agriculture and fishery arts, learners in K stage 2, grade 4 to 6 are taught on how to raise pet animals, chickens, pigs, goats, and fishes, and the prerequisite skills such as care for animals are found in learning areas of science and GMRC of Key Stage 1. Okay. For example, the field here is agriculture and fishery arts. So again, skills progression. So since the start of TL subject is in grade 4, so for grade 1 to 3, that's foundational skills. So for the students to prepare for the TLE subject, they need to learn the foundational. They need to be introduced with, for example, in science, introducing animals. For example, in grade 1, introduce animals. That's K stage 1. Grade 2, for example, grade 2, key stage 1, storytelling. So, example, the mouse and the lion. So, that's in English subject. In grade 3, care for animals, integrated to being introduced in GMRC. And then here comes now the TLA subject. At least the students were introduced with regards to the animals. So this time they're now prepared for raising pet animals. So for example, grade 4, that's a TLA subject already. In for the field agriculture and fishery arts. Okay, so this one shows sample of vertical articulation. For example, in the field of information and communications technology. So, paggamit, for example, grade 4, paggamit ng word processing software. Same in grade 5, paggamit ng word processing software. But but if you are going to see the learning competency, it's different. For example, in grade 4, they will just be focusing on the page size, orientation, margin, font type, style size, and color of the font, and then the text alignment. But in grade 5, although the topic is the same, but when it comes to learning competency, it's different. Like, nakakagawa ng Word document na may images, shapes. So this time, they will now going to apply shapes, smart arts, tables, and page background. So, grade 6, utilization of word processing software. So, this time they will be applying watermark, page color, borders, page number, header, and footer. They are now going, still they're going to make a document, but this time the applications are different. Okay, so this one is an example of horizontal articulation. For example, in level 4 or grade 4, the topic in industrial arts is system of measurement. For the students to better understand the topic, then the teacher will ask the other subjects, the other teachers from other subjects to integrate. Okay, that is to boost understanding. That is to have better understanding of the topic. For example, in math, conversion. So, of course, in the system of measurement, there is this conversion. For example, English to English, metric to metric, English to metric, metric to English. So, science, talking about mass, volume, and density, then here comes a different unit of measurement, right? So, mass, kilogram, to gram, volume, and then the density. We're talking the unit of measurements. So, subject, for example, another subject, English. So, comparative adjectives. You can also integrate system of measurement. For example, tall, taller, tallest, okay, or describing an object that the size of this is, for example, The pencil measures how many centimeter or inches, in inches, how many inches, for example, like that. So, integration. Okay, so for lesson planning, what is this 3S? Again, we're doing a lesson plan for 3S. Society, for the society. Because again, what we are doing here will reflect to the society. Another S is another S that we're going to consider in lesson planning are the students. Why are we doing this? Why are we crafting curriculum? That is for the sake of the students to learn something. Because again, through learning, it will change them to become the better version of themselves. Okay? So, first as society, second as students. And of course, the third is the subject. So we have to consider what are the subjects that we should going to consider for the goals to be achieved. What is this OSAE? O, of course, objectives. Okay, there is really a need to to plan what we really want to achieve. Again, not to waste time. That you should know what do you want when you step on the four corners of the classroom. What do you want for students to learn and to understand, to know and to learn and to understand the experiences that the student should learn. S, again, subject matter. A, that's for the different activities. Okay, because the role of the teacher from being a planner, it shifts to being an implementer. And this E, how can we say that we are achieving the goal? Through the evaluation. Now, I know that you are familiar with the 4A's. So, regardless if it is semi-detailed, detailed, you can still integrate or include the 4A's. So, after, in the part of the lesson proper, you insert there the 4A's. Again, 4A's, activity, analysis, application, abstraction, and application. Okay, so again, what are the elements or components of the curriculum? Okay, but before answering that one, I have a question. Is lesson plan an example of curriculum? Yes or no? Syllabus? Yes or no? Session guide? List of course. List of courses in a particular program. Module. How about book? Okay. So, to answer these questions, you need to be familiar with the different components or elements of a curriculum. For example, this one in the illustration. Do we have here in the picture one of the elements or components or part of the curriculum? Yes or no? If yes, what is it? What do we have here? What element do we have here? Example here, this one. Do we have here in the picture one of the elements or components or part of the curriculum? If yes, what is it? How about here? Okay. So elements, one of the elements are the aims, goals, and objectives. subject matter, content, learning experiences, the teaching and learning activities, and then the assessment, the evaluation approaches. Well, maybe some of you will say, Mom, evaluation is different from assessment. Well, at least they have something in common. If assessment is process oriented, evaluation is product oriented. But at least assessments are being used in evaluating. So curriculum aims, goals, and objectives. So what is to be done? This is the question. Ask yourself, what is it that I want my learners to know and to understand? So you need to be aware with regards to the goals of the TLE for the alignment to happen. When it comes to the content standard, performance standard, the learning competency, so guided by the VGMO. And of course, in constructing objectives, you need always to be aware of the three domains, the so-called KSA, knowledge, cognitive, KSA, skills, and psychomotor, the attitude is the affective. So, second is curriculum content or subject. The question is what subject matter is to be included. Jerome Bruner, more of the discovery. Okay. The statement here is like you experience a certain phenomenon, you describe it, and it will become your concept of that thing. So it is very crucial. Content selection is very crucial, of course. Um, for example, by the way, for the statement of Jerome Brunner, example, a student experienced to work in an experiment on electricity, for example, in industrial arts, series and parallel circuit. So students will now going to construct narrative based on what they experienced exper, exper, um, during the experiment. So that's knowledge is a model we construct to give meaning and structure to regularities in experience. So again, like what I mentioned a while ago, it's very crucial content selection because we have to make sure that the content makes sense, being careful that it's really aligned to the objectives. So carefully planned, it should be carefully planned, making sure that the content is aligned again to the goals. That if I want, for example, that if I want my students to become future TLE teachers, then what should be the curriculum? I cannot provide them with the BS. For example, we want our BTLED students to become future teachers of TLE. We cannot provide them curriculum for BEd. For BEd, we cannot give them curriculum for BSEd. Okay, so that's why content selection is very crucial to make sure that it is aligned to the goals, to what we really want to to achieve. So curriculum content, these are the considerations. Okay. So what subject matter is to be included? The question is the content enough? Self-sufficient? Is the content enough for the students to be molded to become who they should be? Significance. The question is it not obsolete? Is it still relevant? Does it reflect or respond to what is needed today? For the validity, is it in line to what they should be focusing? Interest. The question is that what they want? Were they not forced to become part of the learning session? Because motivation, it's a big thing. Students need to be interested. The reason why they are taking the course is because they are interested. For example, the reason why they are in my classroom is because they're interested to become future teachers. Okay? As in your case, the reason why you are in my classroom is because you are looking forward that someday you will become teachers in TLE. Utility. Is it useful from the word utilize? Learnability. In a particular group, is it suitable? Can learner can easily understand? Or is it appropriate to their level? Feasibility. Do we have the facility? Do we have the needed materials that will contribute for the learners to better understand the lesson? So another is the curriculum experiences. Like what I mentioned a while ago, the role of the teacher from being a planner shifts to being an implementer. So the curriculum experiences, these are the strategies. Yes, we have the content, but it is not as easy as, okay, class, you read it. Okay, this is the content. There are a lot of things to consider. Yes, content is easily acquired by the self-directed or regulated learners. But how about those who do not have these characteristics? That is why teachers are also called facilitators, because they need to get the attention and interest of the learners for them to be motivated. Okay? So, what instructional strategies or resources and activities will be employed? So, you see, teaching methods are means to achieve the end, how you do things that will really be the result. Input is equal to output. There is no single best teaching method. We all know that. Okay? One size does not fit all. So that's why we have the differentiated, considering the different learning styles. So teaching methods should stimulate the learner's desire for them to be interested. Like what I mentioned a while ago, interest is connected to motivation. So learning style should be considered. The three domains should be present. So again, flexibility should be considered, because not everyone are for teacher centered. Others will learn better if the teacher is more of child centered. So again, the reason why we are here is for learners to be equipped with the needed skills, but not necessarily that the teacher will be forcing them. The teacher should motivate students. What the teacher should do to achieve the goals? Again, the strategies, the techniques, the teaching and learning activities. So teacher can use traditional or progressivist way. Again, remember that one size does not fit all. So it depends on the situation. It depends on the learners. So motivation is needed to get the attention of the students. Teachers should consider again how learners learn. So there should be this flexibility. So for this element, curriculum evaluation, this is the element to check if everyone is on the right track. So if we are achieving the goal, to check if everything we do for the total really is for the total transformation of the students, for the success of the students, for the achievement of the goals. Again, for the four components, you just have to remember goal, subject, experiences, and evaluation. This PI stands for planning, implementing, evaluation, or evaluating, planning, again for learning objectives, implementing this or the teaching and learning experiences to achieve what have been planned, and what have been planned, these are the objectives. And then for the evaluation, assessment to check if everything or everyone is on the right track because again, curriculum is a roadmap, a guide. So through this, everything will make sense. Okay, so again, for this one, the components of the design, so everything should be interconnected. So everything should be aligned. For example, objectives. These are the objectives. So to check if we were able to achieve the objectives, so we have to consider that in the evaluation. Okay. And speaking of evaluation, for the result to make sense, it should also be connected to the subject matter. And subject matter should be connected to your goals. Okay? And for goals to happen, it should be implemented accordingly. And if it is being implemented accordingly, therefore the result will reflect to the objective. So you see interconnectedness, alignment. So now I want you to submit, to create a lesson plan, submit it this weekend. Okay. So I want to see the header, for example, the school, the teacher, the date and the time, the grade level, the learning area, the quarter, week and day. I want you to choose one of the learning areas. One of the, you just choose one learning area. And later you will see the topics that you are going to focus on in creating a lesson plan. Of course, the objectives, I want you to include also to the content standard, the performance standard, the learning competencies, and then the objectives. So, of course, the content, the main topic, the subtopic, the learning resources, and then the integration. Okay, I want you to also include the integration. Okay, integration to technology, integration to um, integration to entrepreneurship, integration to other subjects, and also, okay, um, so that's it. Okay, and then for the procedure. Of course, review should be there. It should be included. Motivation, and then for the lesson proper, for the presentation, you will now going to insert the 4 A's. Then of course, after the 4 A's, the generalization, evaluation, and then of course the assignment. I want you also to include the remarks. The remarks is the observation from the teacher, and then the part of the reflection, that the areas for improvement. Okay, so that's it. I want you to create, that's your task for today's session. I want you to create a lesson plan. So later you will see the topics. Okay, so this is the activity. Lesson plan with the following integration. Okay, and then these are the topics. If you choose quarter one, that will be, for example, information and communications technology. So for example, this is for grade 4. Okay. Quarter two, agriculture and fishery arts. Okay, this is the topic. Quarter three, family and consumer science. And this one, quarter four, industrial arts. So you just have to choose one learning area.